Hey, how's it going? This is Justin Carlisle, and I guess we have to get serious one more time for this week's video and blog, or vlog, maybe, I guess you call it vlog, or video, or whatever you want to call it. But this week we're supposed to talk about the people, I guess, who are our biggest supporters, our biggest, I guess, backers, maybe our backbone, so to speak. For me, it's not really one person. It's my immediate family. My parents have been there to support me, of course, but my wife and my kids, they're my boys. One of them's 10, Michael's 10, and Austin's 6. And they're very active. They play basketball, they play baseball, they're very athletic, they're always into sports. They always want to run around and play, catch or go out and play football or go to the batting cages or work on their pitching or throwing, catching. And they've been there, from the very beginning. And it actually got to a point where, my youngest son, I guess he was 4 at the time. And he wanted to wrestle one day, and I told him, I said, no, Austin, I can't wrestle. I said, my back hurts too bad. I said, I haven't taking any of my medication, haven't taken any pills, to help with the pain. And he told me, he said, well, just take a pill to help with the pain. And I, then it kind of hit me, and I was like, wow, it's come down to that a kid, realizes that, if dad takes medication, he'll feel okay. And so I tried to, I guess, just push through everything and play with my kids, but they've just been a constant motivation for me to continue to get better. And for me to try to get better, and for me to work myself back into a condition where I can, safely and I guess, physically get myself back into shape and get myself back to the point where I can get out there and play with them every day of the week. And, throughout this whole process with rehabbing with the troops, for the opportunity that they gave us and the opportunity that we're afforded also because of Armed Forces Insurance to do this program. It allows me to interact with my 2 sons on a different level. If I'm in pain or if for some reason, and anybody with knee and back troubles, they'll tell you the same thing. When the weather changes, when the storm comes in, you feel it. You feel it in your bones, you feel it in your joints, it hurts. So on bad days or if the weather's changing, my boys, they'll go to the entertainment center, they'll pull the Wii remote out, they'll pull out the leg monitor, the heart rate monitor, and they'll pull me up off the couch and, Dad, come on, let's go. So this kind of gives another element, makes it able for my sons, to play this NFL training camp with me, and lets us be a father and sons again on a completely different level in a completely different atmosphere. And something that it's not really, that a lot of people, I guess, really don't have the opportunity to do, probably because they work all the time, or because their kids aren't into video games, or maybe because they don't have a video game and they're, if their sport's baseball and it's wintertime, they don't get to play throughout that. So this program here has given me something that I can play with my kids every single day, no matter what the season is, no matter what the weather is. And it also lets them help, support me, and they get to know that they're helping their dad get better through the rehabilitation process. My wife, on the other hand, we were married 5 years this past July, and it was rough. And we got married in 2005. I got medically retired in 2006. And neither one of us really knew how hard it was going to be. Me getting out of the Army, which was all I knew. I was in since I was 18 years old. I was a staff sergeant when I was retired. So, for me, it was a career, and I was very serious about it. And when I got put out, that first 6 months, before I got any kind of VA care or, anything had to do with anything from the Army or the VA, life was rough. Money wasn't the big issue. It was, the pain. I was in bed 4 days a week. Couldn't do anything. And my wife and I got in a lot of fights about it. A lot. And, she stayed on me, but I realize now that she wasn't getting mad and yelling at me and fussing at me about doing the dishes or doing the laundry, helping her clean the house, whatever. just to do it. It was so it would get me up and get me moving around and get me active, as to where I wouldn't just sit back, feel sorry for myself, and just live in a constant state of depression. But now with, leading up to all this, she supported this, since day one. Knowing that, it's going to demand a lot of time with the videos, and I guess really only demands a lot of time if you really put yourself into it. But the way that I put myself into it, I'm looking at this a lot like I look at my military career, and even through this, she's staying right there with me. And it definitely keeps my hands full because of this program. My wife's pregnant with a third child. We have our two boys that always want to do stuff, so now I'm having to find time and make time, to spend with my wife, because I spend so much time with my kids. And because she's been there so much for me. Helped me out of bed so many times, helped me put my shoes on, helped me get dressed, laid my clothes out for me, made sure I had food in my stomach, made sure my sheets were clean on my bed. When I had my surgery back on October 9th and had my right leg worked on, I was completely down. I was in a wheelchair for 3 months, and I just could not, it was hard to function. And I mean, here's this little 5 foot tall, 100-pound woman, helping lift her 200-pound husband up, getting him into his chair, getting him out of his chair, into his bed, helping give me a bath, which was not a pleasant feat, because when you have that cast on up to your knee and you got to dangle one leg out of the bathtub, it's not a real pleasant, feeling, and it's not an easy process. And, I mean, she definitely has, and pardon my language, but she's put up with a lot of shit. And, I mean, I'm not the easiest person in the world to get along with, and most people that are in the military that have any kind of competitive, spirit, and people who are in any kind of leadership position, they have issues, listen to somebody, when somebody's trying to tell them what they need to do for their own safety, for their own physical well-being, mental well-being. And I thank God that she's the strongest woman as she is, and blessed me with 2 beautiful kids and another one that's on the way. Because any other woman, I think, a woman of a lesser caliber, would have just been long gone. And she would have been out, because they wouldn't have put up with it. And it's, I know from a spouse's standpoint, for my wife, it's hard being married to a disabled veteran. And I'm sure my wife would tell any other spouse of somebody who's disabled and has issues, as to where they have a hard time getting up in the morning, or have a hard time getting around the house, or walking around the mall, or sometimes just getting in and out of a vehicle. I'm sure my wife would tell any other spouse, just to stick it out, stick with it, because it's all going to be worth it in the end. And especially if you stay with this program, especially if you stay involved with this program, whether it's on a civilian side, whether it's on, the participation side. But it's constantly a learning. Every day is a learning experience. Every single day. I learn more about what my limitations are. I learn more about, what I'm going to be able to get away with my wife. What I can do, what I can't do. She keeps, and for her, it's almost like I'm a third or fourth kid for her. To have to look after and make sure that I'm okay. And I mean, there have been days when she's been out in town and I had to call her back because I was down on the floor and I couldn't get up. I mean, I physically couldn't move. And I had the utmost respect and unconditional love for my wife, just for sticking it out with me. And I think that's probably the biggest reason with her and my kids is why I'm taking this thing all the way. And I'm doing as much as I can all the time, every time. Work out as much as I can. Involve my family as much as I can. Make my videos. I have no problem putting my personal life out there, none whatsoever. Because I've got nothing to hide. And I don't know. It's really hard to put into words. How much you can really love and appreciate somebody who's willing to sacrifice, their away time or their downtime or their physical strengths or abilities, just to help you and get you back to where you need to be. And then somebody to put up with all your crap. I mean, because I guarantee you, every disabled veteran who's doing this or the ones that have a wife, I guarantee the wife is going to say that their husbands or their wives have the worst attitude in the universe. And spouses, you are not alone, because my wife, you know, she puts up with it. And I don't really know where I'm going with this video, but like I said, my wife and my kids, they're my strength, they're my driving force to get through this thing, to get my body back into shape, and at least get back to a point where I can live a happier life. And I can tell you, here we are almost to the end of week 3, and I'm noticing a tremendous difference. It's easier for me to get out of bed in the mornings. I'm more active. I like to interact with my wife more. I like to take her out, go into town, you know, help her do stuff around the house, do laundry, do dishes. I won't vacuum. I hate vacuuming. I refuse to vacuum. Or Swiffer. I don't like Swiffer either. But when it comes to clothes or, you know, laundry, dishes, pick up the kids' room, stuff like that, yeah, sure, I have no problem. Take the dogs out, take the trash out. I'm good. I'm golden. But I'm forever grateful, and forever in her debt for what she's done for me. And I really hope she realizes it. Not, I'm sure I don't tell her enough, but that's pretty much it. And she has been my strength through this whole ordeal, and I'm sure she's going to continue to be there for me. So that's it. Well, I appreciate it, and thanks for watching. And have a good weekend, and get ready for week 4, because it's coming up, and we got to take this thing all the way to the home stretch. So it's tighten your shoes, put on your big boy britches, because we're gonna hit it hard, and we're going all the way. Have a good one.